Hello, welcome to my sixth presentation on Kotlin AI Developer course. Now in this session, I will discuss all about APIs. Now, what is an API? Well, to give a short description of what an API is in Kotlin, well, let us recall firstly what an API is. It stands for an Application Programming Interface. From the word itself or from the abbreviation, we can get an idea that it is a set of rules and tools for us to build software applications. It specifies how different software components should interact. So the key word there is interaction. Now, so the API in Kotlin would involve creating the interface or endpoints that allow different parts of the program or different services to communicate. And again, the keyword there is communication or interaction. Since Kotlin is interoperable with Java, we can also try frameworks like Ktor or Spring Boot, which are commonly used for building APIs in Kotlin. Now, to demonstrate what I have said about interaction and the communication, let's try to build now the project. Now the project is all about weather fetcher. The weather fetcher will fetch weather data using OpenWeatherMap API. So in return, we have a communication or interface with OpenWeatherMap API. Now let's try to build the project. Now we copy the description and paste it to, let's try DeepSeek. Okay. So this time let's try DeepSeek. So we paste the description and then we tell DeepSeek that he should create a Kotlin program and provide some descriptions, and immediately will give us this code, and all we need to do is to copy that and paste that to IntelliJ. Now I have created the file here. The file is called api.kt. KT is the extension for Kotlin. Now I have also pasted the corresponding code that I copied from DeepSeek. So let's try if DeepSeek is effective in writing programs. Now in this Kotlin program, we have the libraries. We import these libraries, and then the main function here, we have a try and catch block. Okay. Now what's inside the try block? Now we need to print first the city. So we are quite interested what is the weather situation in a certain city. So might as well we prompt the user to enter what city is he in currently. So we prompt the user to enter the city name using readline. So after that, we have to construct a URL for OpenWeatherMap API using, of course, the city name and the API key. Now here's the API key. How do we generate the API key from API openweathermap.org? So all we need to do is to go there, openweathermapapi.org. Okay, so we copy that and we try to find openweathermapapi.org. Okay, so let me try to search it first. Where's the OpenWeather API org? Okay. So in the OpenWeather API org, I have plugged in already, and then we try to find my API keys. You have to generate your own API key, and here we have found our API key. And all we need to do now is to paste the key here in the corresponding API key. Now after that, this is now the time to open an HTTP connection to the API endpoint. Now the command to open an HTTP connection is url.openConnection. as HTTP URL connection. Now, the requested method is get. Okay. Now there are several methods there. We can have get, post, head, options, put, delete, trace. Now here we have to use get since we are to open an HTTP connection, HTTP URL connection. So after that, we have to get the response from the API. We read it using a input stream reader. Now the command there is input stream reader connection dot input stream. So after we get the response from the API, we now have to parse the JSON. Okay, so JSON response is parsed using the JSON library, specifically JSON parser parse reader. So that is the command JSON parser parse reader as JSON object. Now why JSON? Well, you might ask, why do we need to observe the JSON format? The JSON is not only is it human readable and writable, it's also compatible. It's something like machine readable also. So in return, we use the JSON format. So after that, the program will now extract the description, the weather description from weather array in the JSON response. Now, as I mentioned, this JSON will have a some dictionary containing keys and values that are readable and of course writable. So all we need to do now is to extract that data. So from the JSON, so data that get as JSON array the weather, and then we now get the as JSON object the description, and we have to parse it as a string. Okay, now after we have the description, now might as well display it. So how do we print or display? We need a command println. So the weather is $weather description. So we have defined here the value weather description. So all we need to do now is to print or display this data in the console. Now, since we are here in the try and the catch block, why do we need to have a catch block? So we need that for the exemption. Now the exemption here will handle potential exemptions. Now what are the exemptions there? Network errors or invalid JSON responses. Okay, so if your JSON is invalid or you don't have an internet connection, then it will have an exemption. And then let's try to run the program if it works. So let's run the program. It's building, so our Kotlin is building. So it's connecting. So we wait for a while. Oh, it's already compiling. So it's taking quite a while, so we wait for it. My apologies, my computer is relatively slow, and also the internet connection. Oh, it's finished. Starting the program. So we have the program, our program is up and running. Now to enter the city, what city am I in? For information, my city is in Manila, Philippines. So let's try to see if he could communicate effectively through the API and fetch the description. Then afterwards, okay, if you take a look here at my window, you will really find that the weather condition here, the sky has broken clouds, and that's true. We indeed have a broken cloud. Now here I have effectively demonstrated what an API is. Here we have established connection with the OpenWeatherMap API server, and then we we will retrieve the condition or the description of essentially the weather condition in a certain city. And my city is Manila, and it is indeed broken clouds. Now, in the next episodes or in the next sessions, I will discuss more about Kotlin programming, and we will unlock the power of Kotlin programming. But for now, that's all, and thank you.